to my channel. My name is Alejandra. I am a language coach and I am here to help people to learn languages more effectively by helping them become independent language learners. Now, if this is your first time on my channel, thank you so much for stopping by, and please don't forget to subscribe down below because I make weekly videos about language learning strategies, mindset, and success, and I would love to have you join me for the next one. Now, on today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you 6 things that English speakers say when they're learning Spanish in Spanish that we actually never say. And I'm really excited about this video because it's just something fun, and by no means do I want to put down anybody. That's not my intention. It's just something fun that I think it's interesting to learn, and also so that you can sound more natural in Spanish. So let's get started. Okay, so thing number 1 that native English speakers usually say when they're learning Spanish. This one is actually in the context of ordering food or ordering drinks. People will usually say, "Can I have some water?" in English, right? What they try to say in Spanish is exactly the same thing, but in Spanish. Puedo tener un vaso de agua, o puedo tener pollo, for example. That's what English speakers will try to say at first, because we tend to translate our language into the foreign language that we're trying to learn. But we actually never say that in Spanish. We never say, "Puedo tener un vaso de agua." What we'll say is the following: "Me pones un vaso de agua," or "Póngame un vaso de agua, por favor," or simply "Un vaso de agua, por favor." So, like I said, there is not really anything grammatically wrong with puedo tener. However, it's just culturally something we never say, which is totally fine, because like I said, at first you're trying to figure out, how to speak the language in a more natural way and stuff. So we try to apply our structures from our native language into this new one. But eventually, you actually want to sound more natural in Spanish if you're trying to learn Spanish. So, like I said, "Me pones un vaso de agua," or "Un vaso de agua, por favor," or "Póngame un vaso de agua, por favor." Thing number 2 that English speakers usually say in Spanish when they're trying to learn it. And this one is in the context of confirming an appointment with somebody. Let's say I'm going to be getting together with a friend and I just really want to confirm with him or her if we're actually still meeting. So in English, I would say something like, "Hey, are we still meeting tomorrow?" For example, at 6 o'clock. So I'm just going to repeat it so that whenever we do it in Spanish, it sounds more, let's say, understandable. But are we still meeting, right? Whenever we try to translate that into Spanish, I guess from a native English point of view, people will try to say, "Todavía vamos a quedar." And I've heard this a lot, but actually we don't say that in Spanish. We don't say "Todavía vamos a quedar" to confirm. What we say is the following: "Al final vamos a quedar," or "Al final quedamos," or "Esta tarde nos vemos," right? So that's how we actually confirm with people, or we never say "Todavía vamos a quedar." So thing number 3 that English speakers will usually say is, well, it actually has to do with getting together with people, the word you use to, just kind of bring people together. In English, you will probably say get together or meet together, etc. However, in Spanish, we use the verb reunirse, and the se has to be there, reunirse. For example, "Vamos a reunirnos para la fiesta mañana." That's how we actually say it in Spanish. However, an English speaker that is learning Spanish, and they probably have an actual, high level, I would say, but they'll usually say, "Vamos a reunir para la fiesta." And they miss the reflexive pronoun nos in this case, because we're talking about, just all of us. So just be careful with those reflexives that, need to be added into the verb, because it definitely sounds not as natural. So number 4 that English speakers usually say whenever they're learning Spanish has to do with verbs ser and estar, which basically are verb to be in English. In this case, this one in particular has to do with expressing that an event is going to happen at a specific location. So people will usually say the party will be at the park or at my house or at my brother's house, for example, right? So you'll say will be, right? When they learn Spanish, they learn that the verb to be can actually be ser or estar. And they're usually taught that estar is usually used for location specifically, but this is actually an exception because in Spanish we don't say la fiesta estará en el parque. We actually say la fiesta será en el parque. We use the verb ser rather than estar. But a lot of native English speakers will say la fiesta estará, la reunión estará, en el parque, for example, or even on a specific day. In Spanish, we will say la fiesta será mañana por la tarde. The party will be tomorrow in the afternoon. That's just like another thing that English speakers will usually say when learning Spanish. So just watch out for that. Thing number 5 has to do with saying excuse me. Usually we'll say excuse me for, just because you have walked into somebody, or if you want to say, hey, excuse me, can I talk to you for a second? That's, how you will say it in English. And the way we'll say excuse me in Spanish is mostly perdona, perdón, disculpe, things like that. We never say perdóname in order to say excuse me, which is what most English speakers will say when they're learning Spanish. But perdóname with that me inserted actually means forgive me, as if you actually have done something wrong. So forgive me because I have broken your glass, for example. That is something different. But in order to say excuse me in Spanish, just remember, perdona, perdón, disculpe. And this is the last one. Thing number 6 has to do with expressing that you like something. In English, you'll say, for example, I like coffee. And you say coffee as in a very general thing. You don't say the coffee from Brazil or Colombia. No, you'll just say coffee as in general. Well, in order to express that generality in Spanish, we'll say me gusta el café. So you actually have to add that article el to express generality. Sometimes English speakers that are learning Spanish won't say that. They'll say me gusta café. They just say coffee without the article. And it's the same with I love coffee. Me encanta el café. That's how you should say it in Spanish. Instead of me encanta café, don't forget to add that article there to express something general, such as el café or la leche or things like that. Okay guys, this is the end of this video. I'm sure there are always more things that people will say, and it's the same, when we try to learn English, we will say things that are just simply, not necessarily what people will say, but that's totally fine. This is just the process of learning a new language, and you have to go through it, and you have to experiment and make mistakes and just enjoy it, because languages are just meant to be enjoyed because they allow you to communicate with other people, to learn different cultures, to travel, to even communicate your own ideas to just people that don't understand your language. So just enjoy this. This is amazing. If you're learning Spanish or English or another language, I'm really excited for you because it's only going to enrich your life. Please don't forget to subscribe down below if you have enjoyed this video. Also, just click that thumbs up, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!